Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. If you're going through hell, keep going. The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Never, never, never give up. You have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something sometime in your life. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. An appeaser is one who feeds a crocodile, hoping it will eat him last. History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. A lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its pants on. The farther backward you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see. A joke is a very serious thing. The price of greatness is responsibility. I am always ready to learn, although I do not always like being taught. There is no such thing as public opinion. There is only published opinion. In war, resolution; in defeat, defiance; in victory, magnanimity. We are masters of the unsaid words, but slaves of those we let slip out. The greatest lesson in life is to know that even fools are right sometimes. To build may have to be the slow and laborious task of years. To destroy can be the thoughtless act of a single day. It is a mistake to try to look too far ahead. The chain of destiny can only be grasped one link at a time. I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. Difficulties mastered are opportunities won. The empires of the future are the empires of the mind. My most brilliant achievement was my ability to be able to persuade my wife to marry me. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Kites rise highest against the wind, not with it. When the eagles are silent, the parrots begin to jabber. There is no time for ease and comfort. It is the time to dare and endure. When you have to kill a man, it costs nothing to be polite. You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. If you have an important point to make, don't try to be subtle or clever. Use a pile driver. Hit the point once, then come back and hit it again, then hit it a third time, a tremendous whack. A fanatic is one who can't change his mind and won't change the subject. Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. It's not enough that we do our best. Sometimes we have to do what's required. This is no time for ease and comfort. It is time to dare and endure. Tact is the ability to tell someone to go to hell in such a way that they look forward to the trip. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. Never hold discussions with the monkey when the organ grinder is in the room. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. The problems of victory are more agreeable than those of defeat, but they are no less difficult. When you're 20, you care what everyone thinks. When you're 40, you stop caring what everyone thinks. When you're 60, you realize no one was ever thinking about you in the first place. Solitary trees, if they grow at all, grow strong. The whole history of the world is summed up in the fact that when nations are strong, they are not always just. And when they wish to be just, they are no longer strong. There is nothing government can give you that it hasn't taken from you in the first place. However beautiful the strategy, you should occasionally look at the results. Men occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry off as if nothing ever happened. The true guide of life is to do what is right. It's not enough that we do our best. Sometimes we have to do what's required. Study history, study history. In history lies all the secrets of statecraft. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. We are all worms, but I do believe I am a glowworm. War is mainly a catalogue of blunders. A love for tradition has never weakened a nation. Indeed, it has strengthened nations in their hour of peril. The greatest victories are those won without fighting. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. A wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends. It is not enough to fight. It is the spirit which we bring to the fight that decides the issue. It is morale that wins the victory. It is a good thing for an uneducated man to read books of quotations. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. The power of man has grown in every sphere except over himself. A nation that forgets its past has no future. There is something about the outside of a horse that is good for the inside of a man. To be really happy and really safe, one ought to have at least 2 or 3 hobbies, and they must all be real. Broadly speaking, the short words are the best, and the old words best of all. We are stripped bare by the curse of plenty. I never worry about action, but only inaction. The greatest lesson in life is to know that even fools are right sometimes. A man does what he must, in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, and that is the basis of all human morality. We contend that for a nation to try to tax itself into prosperity is like a man standing in a bucket and trying to lift himself up by the handle. We are all worms, but I believe that I am a glowworm. Everyone has his day, and some days last longer than others. I like pigs. Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals. I am fond of pigs. Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals. We shall show mercy, but we shall not ask for it. The length of this document defends it well against the risk of its being read. The reserve of modern assertions is sometimes pushed to extremes, in which the fear of being contradicted leads the writer to strip himself of almost all sense and meaning. You can always count on Americans to do the right thing after they've tried everything else. Without courage, all other virtues lose their meaning. Every day you may make progress. Every step may be fruitful. Yet there will stretch out before you an ever-lengthening, ever-ascending, ever-improving path. You know you will never get to the end of the journey. But this, so far from discouraging, only adds to the joy and glory of the climb. It is no use saying, "We are doing our best." You have got to succeed in doing what is necessary. I have taken more out of alcohol than alcohol has taken out of me. You can measure a man's character by the choices he makes under pressure. There is no finer investment for any community than putting milk into babies. Out of intense complexities, intense simplicities emerge. The truth is incontrovertible. Panic may resent it, ignorance may deride it, malice may distort it, but there it is. The most important thing about education is appetite. In the course of my life I have often had to eat my words, and I must confess that I have always found it a wholesome diet. In those days he was wiser than he is now. He used to frequently take my advice. We must beware of needless innovations, especially when guided by logic. The first duty of the university is to teach wisdom, not a trade, character, not technicalities. When you are winning a war, almost everything that happens can be claimed to be right and wise. When the situation was manageable, it was neglected, and now that it is thoroughly out of hand, we apply too late the remedies which then might have effected a cure. A politician needs the ability to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year, and to have the ability afterward to explain why it didn't happen. I like things to happen, and if they don't happen, I like to make them happen. The best way to predict your future is to create it. To improve is to change, so to be perfect is to have changed often. Great and good are seldom the same man. You can always come back, and you can come back only stronger. The only thing that ever really frightened me during the war was the U-boat peril. To have the United States at our side was to me the greatest joy. Now at this very moment I knew the United States was in the war, up to the neck and into the death. So we had won after all. We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us. My tastes are simple. I am easily satisfied with the best. The whole history of the world is summed up in the fact that when nations are strong, they are not always just, and when they wish to be just, They are no longer strong. One does not leave a convivial party before closing time. The nation will find it very hard to look up to the leaders who are keeping their ears to the ground. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. I have always felt that a politician is to be judged by the animosities he excites among his opponents. There is only one duty, only one safe course, and that is to try to be right and not to fear to do or say what you believe to be right.